So let's quote Neville again. There is a power inside every human against which no earthly force is of the slightest consequence. What did Neville mean? What is that force? Ancient traditions knew that there are at least 7 energy centers within our body. They all radiate with incredible intensity. You just felt one incredibly strong emotion. The feeling came from love. According to the indigenous cultures, there are only 2 basic emotions, love or fear. They push us ahead. This energy empowers our thoughts. Without emotions, thoughts have very little energy. Thoughts are just the guiding system directed by emotions. When you add love or fear behind the thought, it becomes real. When you marry the thought and emotion, you get a feeling, and the whole array of them derive from either love or fear. Feelings are the vibrations that influence the field. So now the question is, which feelings are you feeling most of the time? And when you look around, look at your life situation, what is going on around you? Attracting, repelling people, conditions, situation, it all comes down to you through the power of your feeling. And they are your attracting forces. Feelings are being generated in your heart. Yes, it is your heart that science confirms is the organ in our body that has the strongest electromagnetic field. And the feelings that are being radiated from it influence everything and everyone around us. The heart's electromagnetic field, by far the most powerful rhythmic field produced by the human body, not only envelops every cell of the body, but also extends out in all directions into the space around us. The cardiac field can be measured several feet away from the body by sensitive devices. Our heart's electrical field is up to 100 times stronger than brain's. Magnetic field is about 5,000 times stronger than brain's. So isn't it obvious how we participate? The conscious creating is based on our heartfelt feelings, beliefs. Our beliefs are being created once the power of emotion marries the thought. The thoughts that we keep on thinking become our dominant thoughts. When fueled by emotion, they become beliefs, and these influence the field. Your beliefs are the maps through which you perceive the world. How you see yourself is everything. The field mirrors your beliefs. You can empower yourself through your beliefs, or you can weaken yourself completely. And it is not going to be because of your heart. This is a very strong beacon, but it needs to cooperate with the brain in order for it not to sabotage its strength. So when Henry Ford said that you think you can, you're right. You think you cannot, you're right. But let's actually say it properly. You feel you can, you're right. You feel you cannot, you're also right. So what beliefs do you have? Do they empower you or do they limit you? This is how it works. Our mind focuses. Our heart fuels energy into it. And if the emotion is love, you can indeed achieve anything. So your mind is focusing, but your heart fuels life into focus. Once you achieve what science calls coherence between the two, once your brain works in sync with your heart and the feeling is uplifting derived from love, you can start creating happy, balanced life. Your heart talks to the brain every day, sending signals. It's talking to the brain. So here's a very crucial point to stress. Belief translates invisible energy waves of what we feel into visible matter of the world. It's a quote from Greg Braden. This is why it can't be stressed enough to mind your feelings. Pay attention to what emotion is fueling them. Obviously, we can already feel in our hearts that there are life-affirming feelings derived from love, and then you perceive and attract and create more love. Simple. But if you are allowing ego in your mind to take over with the emotion of fear, life can turn into hell on earth. I mean, remember, the field is mirroring your beliefs. So what feelings, what energy are you exuding? What are you doing when you wake up in the morning? Are you watching news and all the disaster on the news? And then what state are you in? What energy are you radiating then? In his beautiful book, Heart's Code, Dr. Pearsall says something really amazing. Our body is like a solar system, where the heart is the sun and the brain is the earth. Earth revolves around the sun. Heart is the transmitter. Brain is the antenna that connects us to the field. So loving heart and hateful heart, fearful heart are two different things. It is not in the nature of our heart to hate. We are not wired to love. This is actually a very good idea for a presentation, and it will come later on in the program. But for now, all negativity comes from our ego. It doesn't come from our heart. Call ego the side effect of humanity. When left brain hemisphere took over, we can see the effects all over. I think we have suffered enough. Maybe it's time to reevaluate and change our beliefs. We have more than enough proof, I think. So let your heart be the sun of your solar system. Here is actually a great example how positive feelings and beliefs can influence what is happening in our world. When our thoughts, feelings, and emotions are in sync and vibrate out of love, we create more peace within us and the world around us. International Peace Project took place in the Middle East in 1983. Individuals were trained to feel as if peace already was achieved. There was no judgment, there was no ego, only heart-based feelings. It is called Maharishi effect. The effect of the Maharishi technology of the United Field was published in Journal of Conflict Resolution. The observed changes in the Middle East included reductions in war death of 75%, war intensity of 45%, in crime 12%, in fires 30%. Plus there were improvements in national mood of 27% and the stock market of 7% during the experimental period. Experiments were repeated many times, very similar results were achieved, and actually the scientists came up with the formula to start the process to make difference in our world. So now, how many people does it take to achieve measurable results? We have 7 billion people in this world. So the scientists have calculated that it only takes a square root of 1% of the entire civilization to start the process. So 7 billion people living in this world, 1% of that is 70 million people. Square root from 70 million people is only 8,366 people. So this is a minimum number of people to start the process. I think we can do it, don't you? And it all starts at the individual level, of course. So how does it influence our everyday life? Our universe consists of energy that vibrates at different frequencies. Love, fear derivatives. Fact. We are all connected within that field. Fact. Our thoughts and emotions create feelings, beliefs in our hearts that influence the field. That is a fact. So our feelings, our beliefs are natural forces within us, are the true healers of disease. This is a very nice quote from Hippocrates. So summing that up, actually I just remember my cancer story, right? For some, it might have looked as if it was an error, but for me, it's more than clear what happened. It is a testament to my belief that the force within me triggered this. So as we go on, I will give you numerous examples of such cases. But in Mindset Academy, we are going to give you a step-by-step formula of how to direct your thoughts to live healthier, happier, and wealthier. Step 1, think about it. What do you focus on in your life? The algorithm of creation is very clear. Your thoughts, your feelings, they create beliefs. Then there you are in a certain state. So obviously, if you are going to be like the girl on the left, you are going to be in a different state. If you're going to be like this little fellow on the right, you're going to be in a different state. Being in a certain state, you are acting in a certain way, and there will be obviously different results depending on what state you are in. So consider this. What do you focus on in your life? Take responsibility for the energy you exude and take in. Please. The electromagnetic field extends indefinitely throughout space and describes electromagnetic interaction. We are living in the participatory universe. So how do you participate? I will tell you a story of Socrates. This is a great story that illustrates how you can choose and take responsibility for the energy that you actually exude or take in. A student of Socrates came to his master and told him he had some news. Socrates then stopped him and said, okay, before you share the news with me, I have 3 questions for you. 1, is it positive? Is it negative? 2, is it about me? 3, is it about someone I know? So the student said, no, it is not about you. No, it is not about someone you know. And no, it is not positive. So Socrates said, okay, then I choose not to know. Thank you. So this is a story that only shows us that we really do have choices, and it starts at the very, very basic level of thought, and then the emotions that fuel those thoughts, and then feelings that are being created within us because they are our attractor factors. So where do you focus? Where does your focus go? Here's an exercise. Step 1. Become the conscious observer of your thoughts. Start observing others, your partner, your parent, your friend, etc. It is much easier to observe others and notice certain patterns. 2. Become aware of their behavior. How does it influence their state? Person that is constantly worrying versus person who is constantly positive. Who do you think is the happiest? What does worrying actually change? What actions does it create? 3. Try to implement this on yourself. Become aware of your self-talk. Your thoughts, what are your dominant thoughts? How do they make you feel? What beliefs are you creating? Are they limiting you or empowering you? Number 5, how would your life, actions, results look like if you were in constant appreciative state and acted from there? Just think about it for a moment. Here's a little exercise you can use immediately. I learned it from Joe Vitale. What if up thinking? Very, very simple exercise, and how empowering. What if I start implementing these rules and they actually work? What if what Natalia is saying is actually true? What if I stop worrying and start believing? What if I am one of those who can actually make it? What if everything is going to be better than I think? 1, what are you doing? You are redirecting your thoughts where you want them. 2, you empower them with the right emotion. 3, you create a feeling that speaks to the field. You are in the right state to get into action when the impulse comes. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? This is something you can use in any challenging situation. Try to come up with at least 5 what-if up outcomes to set up your vibe high to activate the algorithm of creation, thoughts, feelings, action, results. Never act unless it's an emergency, and believe me, if it's an emergency, it will be an instinctive reaction, so not a problem. Don't need to concern yourself with that. So never act from a bad state. Bad vibe you exude will come back to you as a boomerang. It is a given. Really it is. So become responsible for the energy you exude and take in. What if up thinking? A fantastic exercise. You can definitely do it. You can do it right now. You can do it in any situation in your life. Step 1, done.
So, what if up? How did you like that? How did it make you feel? I'm thinking, what if I could reach just 1% of all Facebook users, and you could help me do that? How many people do you think that is? There are over 800 million Facebook users. So 1% of 1% is 80,000 people who could transform their lives to happier, healthier, and wealthier. Remember the calculation I showed you where it only takes just over 8,000 people to start to create a happier, healthier, more peaceful world. So let's do a little experiment and see how many people we can reach to help. There are 3 things I want to ask you to do. 1, click on the share button below to share this video with others. 2, Click on the like button below, so when the next video is live, you will be notified via Facebook. And 3, post a comment or ask a question in the box below. I would love to hear what you think and get your feedback, and I will answer any questions personally. Watch out for the next video. It will be live in just a few days. Until then, have a great day with love and light.